I mean, what I was actually looking for was I was looking for one that had a good and evil biome intersecting. But I wasn't able to find that, unfortunately. But yeah, world building for Reign of Terror series, basically, is what we're trying to do. I mean, this is actually a feature that DF has that I never see anybody using, which is if you go into Legends mode and you go to the map, you can actually like run through it in real time. You can just scroll through. So this is the spot that caught my eye, right here. Right here. This. Now, it's pretty packed full of kind of a lot of shit. It's pretty busy. It's pretty busy. Like, there's kind of a lot. The Barbarity of Sorcerers is a great goblin faction. I like that faction name. Pregnant Realm. Realm is pregnant? This. With what? Stranglers, maybe? Good win, Animal. Jeez. So yeah, no, this area right here is kind of why I let this world generate. We've got this pretty decent-sized human faction. It's actually, I wonder who that even is. Then there's the Ring of Barricades down here, very large. I wonder what their symbol is, the Ring of Barricades. I think that's a Kia or a Cobalt. I love how there's this evil desert and then a single evil mountain with a destroyed fortress right there. It's kind of funny. So yeah, quite a lot going on up here. It's quite like almost all of the factions in the map are just like crammed into this area with the extent of the southern superpowers down here, which is the Ring of Barricades and then the Wooden Spear, Wooden Spider, I guess, which I'm assuming is the goblins over there. And then the Exalted Shell and the Wonder of Fortresses, which I'm assuming is the Elven Civs over here. But even in Legends, I don't think that there's any way for me to just find Stranglers. But yeah, this whole patch here. This is all moist tropical broadwheat leaf forest, which is evil jungles. Well, there's some rocks. There's a bronze colossus. Hydra. Seems like a lot of dragons are dead. There's a female dragon alive. Where's that? The Warm Brand of Jewels was a dragon. She was one of the first of her kind. Heat Guilt was associated with wealth and fire. Seems to have been quite busy. Struck a lot of things down. Has a handful of kills. You made it to a stream. I'm sorry. Just don't jump in. It could be wet in there. The enemy of the moist spider, eh? So yeah, very active dragon. One very active dragon. We got a Hydra. Let's just take a peek at civs. That Ring of Barricades. Dwarven civilization of the legendary dimension. The dwarf Stukad seared oil. became the general of the Ring of Barricades. Dwarf Nish, Rounded Cave, became the king of the Ring of Barricades. This might be the faction that we go with, but I don't actually know. The only reason I'm saying these guys might be is because they're a pretty consistent stronghold down to the south. So if we went with these guys, then we could pretty easily no, that's what I was doing, technically. Excellent. I mean, have you been listening to me at all today? Because I would apologize to me for having to watch my stream today. I misread that. I read that as a Cyclops becoming the Baroness of the Ring of Barricades, but it's just the dwarf's last name was Cyclone Roof. Which is a pretty good last name. I'm just... I'm exceptionally depressed, and I've been exceptionally depressed, and I'm tired of not talking about it as much as I should. On what difficulty? Excellent. There's a named Hungry Head. Matched Dull. Matched Dull. Was a hungry head born in the year 36 of unknown parentage, settled in the wall of galleries. Became an enemy of a bunch of people. Attacked the dwarf. The dwarf escaped. Attacked the dwarf. The dwarf escaped. Became an enemy of a group. Attacked another dwarf. The dwarf escaped. Attacked another dwarf. The dwarf escaped. And became the enemy of the cudgel of entrances and then died of old age. That's Hungry Head. Hungry heads don't live very long. Sheesh. Yeah. How often do you see a named Hungry Head? I mean, it's a head that's hungry. There might be a sketch on the just gonna go through named figures. Let's see what we can find. Okay, hold on a second. A hill titan that died in the first year of this world. Wood Lush Dives was a hill titan. It was only one of the first of his kind. It's a quadruped composed of water. Oh, that's why. It had a square shell and it had a regal bearing. Beware its deadly spittle. It was associated with rivers, plants, nature, and animals. Began wandering the hill of Tin and attacked the menace of Shutting. At dreadful threat, struck down a goblin. How? You're made of water. Probably drowned it. Struck down a second goblin and was struck down by a goblin. Got 2 kills and killed a troll in dreadful threat and then got splatted. You know, this hill titan was probably trying to quell the goblin outbreak before it got out of hand and unfortunately got splatted. Splashed? Split, 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 splat? Splatted? Splatted? Splittered. Splutted? Are any of these even words? I'm just looking for things that stand out to me. Twilight Monster. Melgara of the Dead of Dying was a twilight monster. It was the only one of her kind. A large, eyeless humanoid of twisting, jointed trunk. It groans from time to time, and its gray skin is waxy. You will know why you fear the night. Was struck down by a dwarf. Asob Thinned Anvil in the Forest of Rhythm. So, like I said, I'm just looking for things that jump out at me. I really wish that a lot of the weird night creatures from Adventure Mode could pop in Fortress Mode, because they're some of them are really cool and kind of super creepy. Also, if anybody wants me to just chuck this save up onto the internet, just let me know. Or onto the here. You know what? I'm just gonna put this up on Google Drive. Give me a second. It won't take too long. I can't rename it, so it's just going to be called Region 3. But it's uploading if anybody wants it. Tracker? Tracker what? Oh, the one that I've highlighted. Yeah, it does almost look like a word. It was one of the first kobolds of their kind. Became a lover with Schlifirifurkungus. And they became a hunter into the Helm Knights. And was struck down by a rock. Well, had a daughter named Bradadaglin. Was born in year 2 and also died in year 2. Yeah, poor Tracker. This one lived to 36. One of the first of his kind. Found a lover. Became an animal dissector. Became a member of Tigfigfreakins? Got devoured by a hydra. What a way to go. Had a daughter named Lofolotribus. Lofolotribus. Okay, enough kobold stuffs. What else do we got? Male mate of the wicked horror. Huh. It's not a night creature. That's no. Rocks are giant birds of prey. Oh. A dwarf necromancer that was one of the first of its kind. Seems to have taken place in a lot of wrestling competitions. Unib was a dwarf, one of the first of his kind. Became a necromancer later in life. Was a militia commander of the ancient Page. The Rag of Suns held a short sword throwing competition in Hollow Banner as part of the Festival of Fountains. There were 5 competitors, including Unib, Manom, Lance Tracers, and Manom Lance Tracers was the victor. Had a bunch of lovers over the years and broke up with a bunch of them. Actually, hooked up with a dwarf, broke up. Hooked up with a dwarf, broke up. Hooked back up with the same dwarf. Hooked up with a different dwarf, and broke up. Repeat a couple of times. Took place in a bunch of foot races, a bunch more lovers. Then the dwarf necromancer in the year 59, Domas Orbsmine, taught Unib the secrets of life and death. At which point this dwarf wrote and stored a lot of books. And then attempted to corrupt people. Yeah. And is still alive to this day. Seems to be practically a professional wrestler and short sword thrower. Quite literally. Really must have some sort of like rivalry with Moses. Blockade Blockade Muted, that's the word. And Zasset Comet Guild, because they are always competing against each other. Yeah, I mean, sounds like most doping stories in professional sports. Fought in a siege, though, in 199, in the Scalded Crazed Siege, an assault on Suicide Squad. I know it said Seduce Squad, but Suicide Squad sounded better. Also, Suicide Squad is my new, deathcore, happy hardcore band. Still writing books in the mid 200s. Hasn't had a relationship in a while. Maybe got married. Did you get married? Had an apprentice who died in the year 362. Former master who's still alive from what I can tell. Two apprentices who both died. Never got married. No, I mean, they're just plotting and taking part in sword throwing competitions. Up until current day, yeah, it's just plotting. This person certainly seems like kind of a Darth Sidious kind of character where maybe they'll kill people in the future, but why not? Why do anything else? You know, they're just Hulk Hogan. Hasn't killed anybody, but is definitely evil. All right, if anybody wants this world, here's a link. Just drop it in the chat. Anyone with link can view and download. So if you'd like to mess around with this world, that should be it. See what else we can find. Lots of forces. Some Ettins. Most of the Minotaurs I've seen seem to be dead. Plenty of Giants and Cyclopses alive, though. All right. I gotta ask. Named Blind Cave Ogre. It's the first of her kind. Settled in the remarkable hill. Died of old age. Okay. I'm alive. Hi. But thanks for checking in as always. Born, settled, grew old, died. I mean, that's actually we don't know, Casey. And the reason we don't know is because they were alive before time started being written. So they could have been like 70 years old already. Meanwhile, Onos Impalglitter was a dingo, was one of the first of her kind, settled in the West Hills and died of old age. On another necromancer that still... Let's see if this necromancer killed anybody. I'm not going to scroll through this whole thing. There's too much here. Another necromancer that killed nobody. Former member of the Lucid Syrup. I like how you're making fun of this ogre for only living to 20 years, Casey, and then you're just like, 14 years for Dingo. Not bad. Not bad. The Lucid Syrups, yeah. This one had a lot of children, though. Do you have a spouse? Former spouse died in the year 48. Man, could you imagine living for 500 plus years and your spouse just dies? Was a warlord of the Orbs of Striking. Member of the Pregnant Realm. So I guess the Pregnant Realm is a dwarven civ. I just think it's funny. That's all, Casey. It's just, only live to 20? What a pansy! Followed by 14, not bad. It's just funny reading it, that's all. I like this kobold's name. Chudub Uthlonkis. Chudub Uthlonkis. You say that in like an accent, it almost sounds like a real thing. Chudub Chudub Uthlonkis. Chudub Uthlonkis. Kinda. I wonder what a kobold accent would sound like. Chudub Uthlonkis. Also the spurting whips. So this kobold was born in the year in the year 2. She was the eldest daughter of Trosdosner and Blinkydonkalalius. And in the early winter of the year 3, the Minotaur scraped Gleam, the spurting whips, attacked Chubalubadonkus, and Chub Dub Uthlonkis was struck down by the Minotaur. I'm staring at NWN, and the only thing that comes to mind is Neverwinter Nights. Is that what you're talking about? Ah, I got you then. Did anybody download the world to take a look at it? And if anybody would like me to repost it, let me know. Excuse me? Keatsy Declined Boulder was a zombie harpy, animated by Unknown Forces, settled in the Feverish Plain. So that evil, not the jungle, the moist tropical broadleaf forest. The Feverish Plain is in kind of the east side, and it's like the flat, evil deserts. There's zombie harpies. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's a good sign. Okay, so I found a male giant leopard. Hold on. First, I need to know about this chinchilla woman. Bem Abicosmos was a chinchilla woman. She was one of the first of her kind. She settled in the Wall of Galleries. In the early autumn of 9, she settled in Hatchet Chasms. Bem decided to become a mercenary, operating out of Hatchet Chasms. Ben began worshipping the rock Midring neutral quests, the Certain Wills. Began worshipping a different rock, and began worshipping a different rock, and then became the dungeon master of the Cudgel of Entrances. You know, the best kind of, of course zombie dragons are possible. I've been attacked by a zombie hydra, so, yeah. Imagine just, like, making your hammerer a hamster person. I had them wander into my fort once. Not in this particular session, though. You've been here for most of it, Casey. I just think it's really funny that she's the dungeon master, because they're, like, one of the smallest, like, playable characters that you can have. Like, I think they're smaller than kobolds, chinchilla people. Anyway, worshipped a few more rocks, and then began embezzling funds as the dungeon master in 45, definitely a midlife crisis, and then died of old age. Probably saving for her grandkids, which she never had. Okay, what are you? Shadow of Nights was a bridge groom. Oh, it was a bridegroom of the emaciated horror. It was one of the first of his kind. Large humanoid with lidless eyes, stubby tail, and joints that are backward. Slate gray skin that is leathery. You will know why you fear the night. Yeah, there's an elf night corpse. Evening's cutest. How's you? Atra Shame Kisses. The Dingo Man, Night Corpse, was one of the first of his kind. Settled in the dooms of romancing. Well, that's obviously why your name is Shame Kisses.
What are you doing on computer? Go outside, so beautiful!
How quickly would it get old if I just, like, say okay and just shut my camera off and walk outside every time he did that? Was brought back for... Okay, so it was struck down in the year 32 by the Cyclops. By the Cyclops Kagid... Oh... Yes, I misread that. I read that the Cyclops was a necromancer, and I was like, excuse me? No, Kagod Bold Glimmers, the Saffron of Breaching. And then was brought back to life by the necromancer Lebesh, Wielderge as a night corpse in Partner Fords. And then formed a false friendship in order to extract... And then someone else formed a false friendship with this poor night dingo man. Yeah, it did used to be the SFX. But what's even better is Cutest didn't ask for that SFX animal. Cutest found that independently of you. Yeah. Died in 32, came back in 396. Must be a skeleton. Definitely not a functioning corpse anymore, yeah. Maybe it was like encased in ice or something. Who knows? Well, there's living yetis. Now, this Yeti has a couple of kills. Choke Gutter, the Waning Ship is the name of their lair. 21 notable kills, including a lot of goblins and a human. 2 humans. It's 3 humans, actually. And 66 other kills. Yeah, they only need to get... I'm sure they'll get one more soon. I like how they're just trying to kill, like, one of every type of livestock. It's like one peregrine, one billy goat, one blue peahen, one sow, one guinea cock, one peregrine falcon, one reindeer cow, one alpaca, one reindeer bull, one guinea cock, one dog, one ibex, one KV sow, one goose, one hen, 2 turkey hens, one drake, one alpaca, one ewee, one gander, one reindeer bull. Like, they're trying to just get one of everything. There's no horses in there, though. Shoutouts to that snow cone maker, the Yeti. Blimbus. Lived a full life. Blimbus. Stowfoglegger. Blimbus was a kobold born in the year 13, 4th eldest son of Thregger and Stowfoglegger. Blimbus and Dooflumber became childhood friends. Plo Foco Losiclus and Blimbus became childhood friends. Blamba Gasrubin and Blimbus became childhood friends. Blambus became a bone carver and worker mind. Chaladriglus and Blimbus became lovers. Blimbus gave up being a bone carver to become a hunter in work mind. Blimbus and Cladcloriglus broke up. Cherie Bechuder and Blimbus became lovers. Blimbus and Shri Betruder broke up. Blimbus and Teril Berin became lovers. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. What a lover boy here. Got married to Cheeky Thrimbus and gave up being a hunter to become a miner, and then divorced Cheeky Thrimbus. Found another lover with Flagger. That actually is just straight up a word. Flagger? Anyway, then married Flagger, gave up being a miner to be a criminal, obviously working with Flagger, and then, oh no, divorced Flagger, like 50-something years later. Blimbus and Flagger then became lovers after getting divorced. Ooh. Now that's drama. And then they got remarried the next year. So they got married in 101, these two kobolds. And then one of them, they I guess became criminals together or something and went off on criminal escapades. And in 163, they got divorced, but stayed lovers. So good for them, I guess. Healthy relationship, I suppose. And Fleabulbus and Blimbus became lovers. And then Blimbus married Fleabulbus. Fleabulbus. And then Blimbus died of old age. That's why I read it out, because also his wife, Fleabulbus, died after him. He also had a daughter named Paplinkus, who died in 176 after being born in 172. The divorced... Oh, Flagger, the deceased spouse, also died in 166. So, before he got married to Fleabulbus. I hope not, Animal, frankly. Blimbus is a Giga Chad by Cobalt standards for sure. I was just excited to see a Cobalt that lived for like over 100 years. There's a few of them actually. They've got to be isolated somewhere. Here's another one. Drober. Drober was born in the year 15. Similar thing. Man, you know, I think kobolds might just sleep around a lot. I mean, look at this. Became lovers with Lyrid Fishlamir. Broke up. Became lovers and broke up. Over like 2 decades. Worker Mind. Where the heck is Worker Mind? Kobolds get wiped out in the first 4 seconds. Usually, maybe not the first 4 seconds, but like the first couple years. Found a female wolf woman. Snog Gong, fin balanced, was a wolf woman. She was one of the first of her kind. In the year 16, Snogong settled in the hollow tundra. In the late autumn of 22, Snogong settled in Pasty Mornings? Pasty Memorings? I don't know. And became a scout. And the bridegroom of the emancipated horror, the Shadow of Nights, attacks Snogong, who we actually looked at earlier, I think. The emancipated horror, while defeated, the latter escaped unscathed, and a Cyclops fought with them. And the wolf woman was able to escape. Pretty good. Must have been a pretty good scout. But later the next year, Snogong was struck down by another Cyclops named Vir, Search Knight, the greatest impudity of the mountains in Pasty Mornings. That's a weird word. Pasty Mornings? Let's sit back down. There's a legendary Gorlak while we're reading that. Also, can I just say that Perfect Point is probably a place that Picture Point would create. Sitting down. Wait, of what faction? Stone? You mean the really long-living kobolds or something else? Nugrith was a Gorlak. One of the first of his kind, settled in the Perfect Point in 31, settled in Body Snakes. Ugh. Became an animal caretaker in Body Snakes. The Wicked Ogre mate, Lally, Fangrithils, the Umbral Urns attacked Nugreth. The Wicked Ogre fought with Nugrath. While defeated, the latter escaped unscathed. The Minotaur Boltsquake, the Scalded, attacked Nugrath. While defeated, the latter escaped unscathed once again. Nugrath was enslaved by the pregnant realm and settled in Rayscraft and became a chamberlain of the Fellowship of Mortality. The dwarf, Lear Munnerpool, as the dwarf monster slayer, Pecklod, Flecker Whiskers, of the pregnant realm, formed a false friendship with Nugrath in order to extract information about Rayscraft. Nugrath did well, gambling in Rayscraft, at the Grey Snakes, and then fled into the hills of Amethyst and became the overlord of the mythical noble band in the year 95, but died in the year 96 of old age. For the long-lived kobolds, I don't know what the name of the faction is, but they all live in Worker Mind. Wherever Worker Mind is. So look up Worker Mind and I'm sure you'll find them. I'm assuming you're looking at the world now, yeah? You're not? Ah, well, I mean, if you want to. That's the world.
Tip 486: do not attempt to jumpstart Frog. Frog is capable of both jumping and starting of its own volition.
I thought it was going to say something like it's incapable of jumping and starting at the same time or something. Ryan, thank you very much for the 47th month. Cheers, man. That's a second, like, 40-something tier 3 subscription today because the other one was animal. Thanks, Ryan. Hope works, Benite. Also, we need to record a podcast at some point. Do I know why? Do I? I'm looking for this thumbnail. Is it because of this? It's the happiest I've been in months. Although, admittedly, it mostly went away by the time I got home. Or away from that. I misread this. Moon Woman Consort was one of the first of her kind. It's a large three-eyed humanoid. It had a long swinging trunk, and it shambles sluggishly. Its charcoal skin is waxy. You will know why you fear the night. I read that as like they were human royalty, and I was like, what? But they're not. It's just that's just them. But yeah, no, that was a good race. Did you actually watch the race, or did you just watch the highlights? Because that was just a fun race in general. Like, the top 5 were within only a few seconds for most of it, and that felt good to watch. Too busy with work these days? Or just out and about doing real life stuff? I'm gonna miss Turkey because I'm gonna be on my vacation during Turkey. And my friend who I'm gonna be hanging out with, ain't no way in hell. He's getting up that early to watch that race. Dragon Man, are you still here? We're asking about Jaguar people, I think. Nozuth Parched Rains was a Jaguar woman, born in the year 6 of unknown parentage. She settled in the Sunken Dunes, and in the year 28 settled in Velvet Meeting. And the dragon. Salor. Tax Parched. The Sweltering Flicker. We'll go with Fickle Flicker. Attacked Nozrith. And they were struck down by the dragon. So we found a Jaguar woman from the Deer of Enjoying. Wasn't a very enjoyable death, that's for sure. Also found a Plump Helmetman. Old Men. Scale Strangled was a Plump Helmet Man. She was one of the first of her kind. Settled in the False Teeth. Well, obviously you don't have teeth. And Olnan settled in Glenpitch, became an animal caretaker, gave up being an animal caretaker to be a tavern keeper. It's a very dangerous occupation for a Plump Helmet person. Started working in the Bellies of Veneration at Glenpunch, and a Hydra attacked. The Mangy Filth attacked. And they were struck down by the Hydra Moguk. The Mangy Filth in Glenpunch. Hydra Moguk, Flicker Robust, the Mangy Filth, devoured Olnan in Glenpunch. But yeah, no, Ryan, hell of a race. I'll say that. I will have to admit that I think Monza might be rapidly becoming one of my favorite races on the calendar. I just like watching that track. It's probably my most memorable race of last year, and it's probably going to be one of my most memorable races this year. I don't think that's cannibalism, is it? Something always happens at Monza. Yeah, it's the track's just interesting. Also, did they put the double shoey into the highlight reel? Because I don't know if they did the if they put the trophy ceremony into the. You've posted something skeletally? What'd you post? Okay, well he took one shoe off, drank out of it, took the other shoe off, and gave it to Norris, and he drank out of it, and then they filled both the shoes up and poured it on the CEO of McLaren, whatever his name is. Is Scully. Chat, I feel like that this world might be infringing on my trademark. Maybe. Allegedly. I don't know. I feel like that's the equivalent of like a human serving pork, you know? Found a legendary giant dingo. Very boring life. Settled and died. What, you're a giant dingo, Joe? You were born, settled, and died? I mean, worse things you could live up to. Well, this cheetah had a life. Settled in the Hill of Ringing, became the enemy of a lot of things. Attacked a dwarf, and struck down the dwarf. Devoured the dwarf. Attacked another dwarf, struck down the dwarf, and devoured the dwarf. Attacked another dwarf, fought with the dwarf, and the dwarf escaped. Attacked another dwarf, and fought with the dwarf, and the dwarf escaped. Fought with another dwarf, fought with the dwarf, and the dwarf escaped. Became the enemy of kobolds, probably easier to eat than dwarves, and with the Stake of Innocence, I'm not sure what that is, and devoured a turkey from the Stake of Innocence. I think that might be a human group. And then attacked a dwarf, and fought with the dwarf, and the dwarf escaped, and Fanu died of old age. Alright, what's a nice job, Jocks? Also, hi, Jocks. What's up? An ultimate, hello. I'm doing okay-ish. I've just been pretty bad in general as of late, so feels wrong to say that I'm doing okay. Oh, it's a Hori Marmot woman. Oh, I've read that it's just a Hori Marmot. Like, that's awfully long-lived for a marmot. Oh, the giant dingo. I getcha. Someone lived more than 300 years? Not too uncommon. Like, if you're talking about this person, a bleak woman, yeah, they live for a very long time. I'm more looking for things like, I want to know why this tiger is legendary. Because it attacked a goblin, I think. 2 goblins. Well, finding some necromancer's experiments. Cole Portenthus Hames was Ezem's warrior, born in 33. He was the 4th eldest son of Lear and Moses. A small, scaly humanoid. It has thin wings of stretched skin and black scales that are small and overlapping. This night creature was first created by the dwarven necromancer Ezem Lancemolten. That's a good name. Of Lantern Boulder, after horrible experiments on the dwarf Zulban church bells, and Trumpet murdered in the year 93. Got married in 82. And then a goblin pretended to be somebody else and formed a false friendship. And I guess that led to the dwarf being changed from Cole into an Ezem's warrior. Fought in a bunch of wars. And in the year 103, Cole became the Holy Summer of the Doctrine of Summer. I mean, the craziest thing so far, Lake Faster, that I found in this world, is I found multiple kobolds that lived full lives and died of old age, which is crazy. That doesn't happen. Straight up, that doesn't happen. Okay. Okay. I was wondering for a second with this. I was like, this is a demon and it's dead? But no, it's just a necromancer experiment. Struck down by a goblin anyway. I found another legendary hungry head. settled and died. Oh, possibly. I need to look up what the name of their fort was again, but I'm gonna go figure out where it is. Also, chat investments are open if you want to invest your tickets. We had somebody in this chat recently, Jax, who had just started playing DF, and they kept getting sieged by goblins, and the goblin armies were led by literal fucking brutes, like demons. Like living underground fun stuff demons. Multiples of them. It's the first time I've ever seen that happen, and I found a hamster person. Oslo Music Cult was a hamster woman born in the year 4 of unknown parents. Settled in the Lucky Swamps, and in the midsummer of 41, settled in Scourgewraith, became a trooper. Scourgewraith. Aw, you trooper, you're so fuzzy. Gave up being a trooper to become a fish cleaner, naturally. And gave up being a fish cleaner to become a hunter. Okay. And then became obsessed with her own mortality and sought to extend her life by any means necessary, being too proud to give in to death, and then died of old age. I found a hamster person, and they just went and died. Well, I'll match your nice with more nice. I mean, that's kind of impressive. Imagine being like 3 foot tall and, you know, killing a goblin. Almost every animal in this game has a person variant, except for domestic animals, because that would lead to, you know, the weird, like, Goofy and his pet dog situation, you know what I mean? So, to, like, keep slavery very far away from DF, there isn't any of that, but, like, if there's an animal in Dwarf Fortress that is not a domestic animal, that is domesticated before time starts, so like a dog or a cat or something like that, there's an animal variant. They're just not playable species. You can play them in adventure mode, but so like there's bear people, there's hamster people, there's chinchilla people, there's hoary marmot people, there's mushroom people, there's all that. I just want tree people. Good something or another, mind. Not quite. I've just gone pretty far down. They're not really legendary. These are just named figures. So these are figures that did enough to get written down in history, basically. Baby is sleeping. Well, that's good. I'm also kind of looking for legendary gremlins in here. That's another thing I'm looking for. Uro Union Anvil the Brilliant was a Yeti. One of the first of his kind, settled in the crest of discoveries, became an enemy of the Stake of Innocence. Became an enemy of many things and devoured a goose of the Stake of Innocence in Lancer Matched. Became an enemy of a bunch more people and devoured a billy goat. Attacked a dwarf, beat his teeth out, managed to escape, and the dwarf managed to escape after getting his teeth beaten out. Uro attacked another dwarf, and the dwarf escaped. Attacked a barn owl man, specifically, a barn owl man, and it probably tried to fly away, but got the shit kicked out of it and was struck down. And then Uro devoured it, and devoured an alpaca, became enemies with more things, fought with a dwarf. The dwarf escaped. Became an enemy of even more things. Devoured a dog. Became the enemy of the Notched Razor. And devoured a turkey. Well, this seems like a pretty successful Yeti. Seems to just, like, attack and strike down things and then become enemies of things. Yeah, it's, like, literally just killing dwarves and... This is basically just an adventurer. Devoured a sheep, an alpaca, a ram, a hen, and a duck. All in the year 262 of the Coastal Inks. I want to know what this thing's total kill count was. Holy shit. It's still alive, too. No wonder it's the brilliant. 128 kills? Oh my god. And 25 notable kills. Lives in Smash Mind. Not to be confused with Smash Mouths. The Azure Depths. The Brilliant. I think just very stealthy. That'd be my guess. Just very stealthy. Okay, what do you have to do to become a named troglodyte? Settle in Perfect Point, apparently. Interesting. Once again, this is the map for the world that we're looking at. We just generated it today. And we're probably going to end up settling here. Not today, but probably this coming Saturday. We're going to end up settling here. Because this is listed as a moist tropical broadleaf forest, and it's haunted. Well, savage. It's evil. Goal of this is I would like to try and find stranglers, but primarily haunted jungle forest. Hopefully to last throughout Halloween era of time. I want to look up those kobolds that all lived an abnormally long time for kobolds real quick. What was the name of that cobalt living? Nope. Not bringing back day forts just yet. But I just said what I was going to do. So if you missed it, then you're just dense. But I'm also giving you an unnecessarily hard time. No, I'm doing a secondary fort that I'm going to run on the weekends from starting this coming Saturday through until Halloween. I'm going to call it Reign of Terror. And the idea is to go to war. Probably the first year we'll have about 50 dwarves. Or the first, 10 years or so, we'll have about 50 dwarves to build a big fort underground, and then we'll bump it up to 220 and crank it up and go to war. That's the plan. That there is the plan. Worker Mind, that was the name of it. It's a cave, Worker Mind. Yeah, Worker Mind is an active, successful cobalt cave. But yeah, we're not settling it today. I was originally planning on playing, what's it called? The Patreon game today, but I'm exhausted and exceptionally depressed, so I'm just doing this and gonna keep the stream short. And I'll take tomorrow off, and then we'll do Long Death Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with Star Crawlers in the evening, which is the Patreon game. And then, what's the word I'm looking for here? And then Saturday, we will start this series up. But yeah, so it looks like wherever Worker Mind is has some sort of active thieving group. Question is, there's no way in hell it's you guys, is it? I wonder if it's these guys down here, actually. Because there's a few factions on those 2 islands down there. Subnautica music pretty good, Norstat. That's the Civ? Hold on, let me see if I can spot them then. Well, that's a Cobalt Civ that's pretty isolated. It's another one that's pretty isolated. So they're not on an island. Also, the buff hatred? Demon of Drinks. Pretty good name. Wait, is that them? No, it's not that. Yeah, they're not on an island. Then where the fuck are they? Oh wait, actually, is that them? No, that's because that's connected to you. Where are they? Yeah, I don't. They've got to be like in here somewhere then. Actually, hold on. Let's just go back to year 1. Well, there's a Cobalt Civ. Realm of Cusps. Because you said it's Doug Ugg Urilimus, right? So that's one. There's another. Modest Glade. Human. Dwarf. Pervious Cruelties. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, friend. Okay, then that's where they are then. That's them. Yeah, so they are on an island. So all those kobolds that are living normal lives are on that island then. So I'll bet you if you put a fort on that island, you'd get constantly you'd constantly have stuff stolen from you by kobolds. I almost want to like start a fort there and then leave it and see if they inhabit it. But yeah, no, Starcrawlers is a an older genre of game. Axon, it's like a it's a traditional dungeon crawler, kind of like first-person dungeon crawler, kind of like the dungeon crawlers of old, you know, or more modern, like what's the name of that game? Grimrock. It's like a sci-fi Grimrock. So. Yeah, or Eye of the Beholder, or Ultima Underworld. Bethesda used to make those style of games. the Bard's Tale games, all classics. But yeah, no, I want to play a modern dungeon crawler, and I've wanted to do one for a while. And as part of the Patreon poll, people voted on this right here. So we're gonna be playing this, which is it's a first-person dungeon crawler. So we'll be doing that as our evening game for the next little bit. But it's 4.5 hours. It's not a long enough stream. That's about all I think I really have the energy for today. Killerless and Fiblier Market. Apparently the group of is Kilgreedus. He blovely Cligreedus. That almost sounds like he's trying to say Kilgreedius. Today's a bit of an anomaly even for me, though. Jock's treatment. This past month has been a bit of an anomaly. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's frustrating. But I guess what I have to say is thanks everybody for spending time with me today for kind of a short Legends dive and world generation session. Both of these will go up on YouTube in separate VODs.